MMA Locker Room here with Tony Picks, and we're about to go over the fights that finish and the fights that go the distance. Now look, if you guys want more information on my MMA picks and packages, all you gotta do is check me out on the site. I got my 3-pack for you guys going, individual picks in place. So now you guys know where to get all your MMA packages and picks. It's right here. MMA Locker Room. You can get your exclusive packages right here with Tony Picks. Now, let's get into it. So this fight card that we're going over, we got a lot of UFC fighters that's making their debut, okay? So it's going to be hard to really get the best read on some of these fighters, okay? And then some are giving us odds to where they're giving us over 2.5s and under 2.5s. Of course, you could always play fight go the distance or fight to finish, right? But I'm going to let you guys know which way I would lean if I'm more on the over 2.5 round 3s to start or fights to finish and go the distance. And hey, let's go ahead and get it started, man. The first fight of the night, we got Clayton Carpenter taking on Rocha. That's what I was talking about already. Two fighters that's making their UFC debut. Okay, they got the over 2.5 at a -140. The under 2.5 is going to be at a +101. I like the over 2.5 in here based on the favorite. The favorite's Clayton Carpenter, and his path to victory is usually taking the fights to decision and getting the wrestling implemented. So I actually think the 2.5 is a good way to get your money in, and you don't even got to wait too long. But on the other side, Rocha, he's a guy that can kind of finish the fight at any minute. He can be down in round 1, then turn around and, hit you with an explosive knockout, and finish the fight in round 2. It doesn't take a lot of strikes for him to put out opponents. But me, I think this one's going to go the distance. Next fight taking place, we got Daniel Argueta taking on Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon is the favorite in this one, but Daniel Argueta, he's going to be the wrestler in this spot, okay? The striker is going to be in favor of Cody Haddon. The over 2.5, they got it set at a -176. I like the over in this fight as well. Cody Haddon does have a path to victory with his hands, but Dan Argueta, he's a guy that's wrestling heavy, and that cardio that he has, he's gonna give you top tier cardio for at least 7 to 8 minutes. Then after that, he's gonna tend to slow down in here. So I think this fight's gonna be able to go the distance. But the over 2.5 at -176, I could see a better bet of probably the fight just going the distance and getting a better line on that. The only upside, the only one that really has finishing upside in this fight is Cody Haddon. That's something that I usually like to target. If there is a fight to where only one fighter has a finishing upside, that's a fight for me to say, hey man, I can get to the window with that fight going the distance and stuff like that. When you have two explosive fighters out there, man, they're going to give you all type of good odds to try to bet that fight to go over 2.5 rounds. Next fight taking place, women's fight on this one. So you get ready for the odds. McKenna taking on Polastri. Polastri, slight favorite on the books, -135. They got the over 2.5 set at a -460. They got the under 2.5 set at a +285. But that's why whenever you get women fights, you're always going to get chalkboard favorites for them fights to go over rounds and to go the distance. And this one, Polastri, she's going to be the cleaner striker out there. McKenna, she's a grappler, trains at Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber. I like the over in this fight. I like the fight to go the distance more, if anything. But I'm not saying the over 2.5 to bet it. But in my pick, fight's going the distance in this one, all right? I think Polastri wins by decision. All right, next fight taking place. That fight got scratched. It was supposed to be Junior Tafa taking on Barnett. But now it's Junior Tafa taking on Sean Sharef. We don't got odds for it, okay? We don't got odds for it. But I tell you, I don't think it's going the distance. Junior Tafa usually finishes a lot of his opponents, in that first round. Sean Sharef, he's coming from Orange County, Santa Ana out here, and training at Extreme Couture. And he's an explosive fighter that finishes a lot of his opponents within those first couple of rounds. Man, I take the under 1.5 and take the fight to end in the first round. If you take the under 1.5, and if you guys got even more books that you could get even specific odds, man, this fight's finishing in the first round. One of those guys are getting touched, and one of them's going down. All right, next fight taking place. We got Themba Gorimbo taking on Niko Price. Themba Gorimbo's the big favorite, -300 on the books. All right, so they got the over 2.5 at a -106, under 2.5 at a -130. Now, this is a fight to where Niko Price is explosive. He has dangerous finishability every single fight. He's finished opponents when he was laying down on his ground and just hit the guy like this with a hammer fist and knocked him out. He finished guys off other ways. That's just crazy, okay? So he has finish ability. Themba, though, he's a guy that, you know, he's been able to go to the decision in his fights. He did knock out Pete Rodriguez, but who hasn't knocked out Pete Rodriguez? All right, so in this one, I'm taking a shot with the over 2.5. But me, I like round 3 to start. Round 3 to start is just saying, hey, you just need to go out there and fight for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and I think Themba could do that. But then again, man, I think Themba Gorimbo wins inside the distance because Niko Price, he's a little bit chinny too. Oh man, this is a tricky one, man. This is a real tricky one. Oh man, I don't know, man. Maybe round 3 don't start. All right, my easy way to get out of this. This fight is not going the distance. It's going to finish. Next one. All right, so play that one for the fight to finish and not to go the distance. We got Jonathan Pearce taking on Pat Sabatini. The over 2.5 at a -191. The under 2.5 is a plus 136. Grappler versus grappler. That's what you got in here. A slight favorite for Jonathan Pearce in here. Pat Sabatini, he's dangerous. He has finish ability. Jonathan Pearce, he couldn't even finish his sandwich for lunch last week. So in this one, I like the over 2.5 at that -190 because both these guys have, you know, good wrestling ability and push the cardio, and they're tough as well. But yeah, give me the over 2.5 and give me the fight to go the distance in this one. But man, Pat Sabatini, his jiu-jitsu, that's the thing. Jonathan Pearce could leave his neck vulnerable, and if he leaves his neck vulnerable at anywhere, Pat Sabatini is gonna roll out for that submission. But I don't think that the under 2.5 is a good bet at all. You know, even though it's plus 136, I don't care if it's plus 200. I still don't think it's a good bet. You know, with that being said, I do think the over 2.5 should hit, and I think the fight goes the distance. Next fight taking place. We got some good ones, but if you guys are watching this video, I'm gonna need you to do one thing for me, and that's smash the like button for me over here, and then that's let me know in the comments below, man, who's your guys' favorite UFC fighter right now, and then who do you guys think is gonna be the next champ to beat Alex Pereira, and then let me know who you guys are betting on this week on UFC Fight Night. All right, man. Next fight taking place. Who do we got? We got CJ Vergara. He's taking on Ramazan Temirov. Oh, man. Ramazan Temirov's a -300 favorite. They got the over 2.5 at a -190. Under 2.5's around a plus 137. CJ Vergara usually goes to the distance and the scorecards in his fights. Temirov's making his UFC debut. I like this guy. He's explosive. His striking is top tier. Over 2.5 is chalky, man, because Temirov has finish ability. And, man, CJ Vergara, he's been caught a couple of times. All right, man, I like fight not to go the distance in this one. I'm going to probably be able to get some plus money on that as well because the under 2.5 is at plus 137. So, yeah, man, CJ Vergara hasn't been finished. But I just like Temirov, and I think his striking is top tier, and I think he can finish. I think he could finish CJ Vergara, and this is Temirov making his UFC debut. So hey, who knows what happens in the 3rd round? Maybe he, you know, gets cardioed out and gassed out, and with 5 minutes to go, and CJ Vergara, I doubt that though. But I like this fight not to go the distance, and I really like Temirov in our spot. Next fight taking place. Who do we got? We got Abdul Razak Alhassan taking on Josh Fremd. All right, they got the over 1.5 at a -146. The under 1.5 is at a plus 105. So in this one, finish ability in one fighter, Abdul Razak Alhassan. Josh Fremd, not really worried about him getting any finishes. The over 1.5. Abdul Razak Alhassan, before he started taking some losses, he had the most first-round finishes. I think all of his wins came within the first round or something, or by knockout. It was a crazy stat. Man, the over 1.5 is tricky, though, because I think it can get there. But if it gets there, then that means Josh Fremd's probably doing enough, and then he can, you know, maybe make this even a greasier fight. With all that being said, yeah, I like the over 1.5 at a -146. I don't think this fight goes the distance, though. That's the difference, okay? I think it can last over, you know, 1.5 rounds, but going the distance with the finish ability of Abdul Razak Alhassan, I don't think so. And then also on the flip side, if Abdul Razak Alhassan is getting held down and slows down in that 3rd round, Josh Fremd might just be able to do something on ground and pound, or, you know, because the exhaustion level is too high. So I don't think that one goes the distance in the scorecard. But like I said, this fight card, trying to give you guys the best ways to bet, other ways to just bet the fighters, you know, because it's many ways to get paid on MMA. You can bet round props, you can bet, you know, if they're gonna win by this way, if they're gonna win by the scorecards, you know, all type of stuff. If the winner's gonna be a split decision, it don't matter who wins. You can bet for this fighter to win in the 3rd round or decision, so you're covering 2 angles. It's so many different ways to get paid in MMA. That's what we're gonna do here. MMA Mafia, make money anyway. All right, next fight, Daniel Rodriguez taking on Alex Morono. I like D-Rod in this spot, but the over 2.5's at a -200, the under 2.5's plus 142. I like over 2.5 in here. Both these fighters are durable, and they don't really just step on the gas pedal to go out there and finish their opponents, and it don't matter about the showcase. You know, they've been doing it for a while now, you know, they're used to it. They just want to go out there and win. You know, so I like the over 2.5 in this one, and I do think the fight goes the distance in this one. Next fight taking place, we got Grant Dawson taking on Rafa Garcia. The over 2.5, Grant Dawson big favorite, -400. The over 2.5's at a -295. The under 2.5's plus 200. The reason why is because they're both guys that's going to go for the takedowns. I like the over 2.5 in here. I like Grant Dawson to win by decision, you know, and then I like the fight to go the distance. So, hey, the over 2.5's the play, and then the fight going to the scorecards, that's definitely the other way. Next fight that we got Chidi and Njokuani taking on Jared Gooden. Woo! Over 2.5's at plus 115, under 2.5's at a -160. Meet me at the window on the under 2.5. Both these guys, I don't even think it gets to the 2nd round. No, yeah, I don't think it gets, I mean, too far into the 2nd round, man. So even the under 1.5, you guys could get some better odds, you know, and double up on them. Take the under, but yeah, under. This is like it's like Tariq Schoolball pitching. Just take the under. All right, man. But fight not going the distance at all in this one. Next fight taking place, Brad Tavares taking on Jung Young Park, a fight that got rebooked and you know, now it's taking on this where it needs to be on UFC Fight Night. Brad Tavares is the underdog. The over 2.5's at a -265. Under 2.5's going to be at a plus 180. Both these guys usually go to the scorecards in their fights. What do you think we're doing in this one? I think they're going to the scorecards in their fights. In this fight, over 2.5 is -260. That's chalky. You parlay it out with some other 2 fights and you get you some good odds. Fight going the distance in this one. All right, that's my prediction. Main event time. But before we do that, hey, I know you've been watching this. Did you guys smash the like button for us at Tony Picks? Did you guys even leave us a comment? Did you? If not, go ahead. I'm giving you time. All right, main event time, that is. Tatsu Atara taking on Brandon Royval. Man, it's going to be a good fight. Man. The over 3.5's at a -130. The under 3.5's at a -106. Tricky spot in here. Tatsu Atara, I think this is going to be his second opportunity in a 5-round fight, but he hasn't gone to 5 rounds yet. Brandon Royval has. You know, Brandon Royval is coming off a win against Brandon Morono, and he's fought for that belt before. So we know that he can last and everything. Let's see. Over 3.5, -130. I just don't think this fight's going the distance, folks. Do what you want with it. The under 3.5, yeah. I could see under 3.5. Yeah, I could see under 3.5. Yeah, but the prediction, fight not going the distance. All right, man. Millz Young, MMA Locker Room here with Tony Picks. If you guys want more videos and more information on my MMA information that we got going, check me out on my YouTube page. I'm interviewing a lot of these fighters on here. I got an interview out with Daniel Rodriguez, who's fighting on this card. And I, you know, I'll cover the media when I can and everything like that. In the meantime, though, let me know who you guys are going to be betting on for these fights to finish and which fights are going to go the distance. Millz Young here, part of Tony Picks.